Welcome to my hometown. It's really great to see the Cardano circus stop direct at my front door, right? That is a unique opportunity. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about our journey as Service Plan, because many of you might wonder, why is such a traditional company like Service Plan suddenly going all in on Cardano? And I want to explain this a little bit in detail. So first of all, you have to probably better understand of where we are coming from and where I'm coming from. And I want to show you a quick show reel of Service Plan. So Service Plan is really the largest independent agency group in Europe. We have close to 7,000 employees. We do everything which is related to advertising, right? So we are working for big brands like BMW, for Lufthansa. I'm coming from a world not of code, I'm coming from a world of videos and images and building best brands, right? But our world, in which we have been quite successful over the last decades, is massively disrupted right now, and it's massively changing. And what I talk to you about today is how we believe we can get from code to return of investment. So what is obviously happening is that AI is disrupting the service industry, which I'm part of as an agency guy, right, at large, really at large. I'm always a little bit over dramatic because I write here that we believe that maybe even 50% of our value creation chain are disrupted right now by AI, because so many things which we do in the service industry or in advertising is what I like to call intellectual hard work, right? It's work done by humans where you need to have a little bit of common sense, a little bit of training, but it is quite repetitive and it actually can be automated in a quite dramatic way. And obviously, when you think about it, we have 7,000 employees, we make close to $1 billion in revenue, and suddenly we are facing a situation where 50% might be automated over the next years by agentic AI. We have a big problem, or we have a big challenge, you could say. And we luckily realized this already 2.5 years ago. So 2.5 years ago, we were already seeing everything which is happening and that this could lead to this point. And we started to pursue a journey of thinking differently of our business model. So what could we do differently? And one of the best things, if your industry gets disrupted, is obviously you try to embrace what is happening. And you could also rephrase it that we have probably the biggest business opportunity of our lifetime. Because right now, everyone is talking about service as a software. If you have never heard of it, it's just basically turning around software as a service. And suddenly we think about there's a $10 trillion opportunity to deliver services, and that is the size basically of the global service industry, to deliver this with software. And just to get the size of this is, I think in 2024, the size of the entire software industry has been just 350 billion. So it's a massive, massive opportunity. And just to do a little bit of education, why is it possible, right? Why is this happening? And it's happening because these agents everyone is talking about these days, they're really capable to autonomously solve really complex tasks, right? And without going into detail, what many companies started doing a year ago is to explore agents as a way to automate their own processes internally, right? So people have been building agents in order to be more productive, to be more efficient, to do more with less internally. But what we saw right from the beginning, because we are experienced people, right? We think about how's the world changing, how are consumers in the future engaging differently with brands, and we realized, okay, these agents, they will also be used externally, right? This will also change the way we live and we interact with companies and we buy products and services. And we quickly had this kind of vision. And this chart is now, I think I have created this chart in May last year, which in the times of AI agents feels like a decade ago. And we already foresaw in this idea that we are heading into a future where we might, as humans, we talk to maybe Siri, or Siri has a bad shot at this at the moment, but maybe we talk to Perplexity or to Copilot or to our favorite voice assistant. And when you have a really complex problem, it will not be solved by Microsoft. It will not be solved by Google. It will also not be solved by OpenAI because they can't. What will happen is that in the future, we are heading into a world, and it's happening right now, that agents from different companies, so in this case, I have this travel example, right? I want to travel with my wife to New York, and I need a flight, I need a hotel, I need airport transportation. And if I voice this really complex problems, agents from Lufthansa, from Marriott, from Uber, they will negotiate with each other, and they will try to find a solution for me. And when you think about it, and this was our exercise we did 1.5 years ago, when you think about it, you are realizing that you are stumbling into a whole new set of problems which haven't been solved. Because suddenly you are realizing, okay, so when we are really heading into a future with billions of agents talking to each other, how do I know that I'm talking to an agent from Lufthansa? So suddenly agents have an identity problem. How do I know that the agent from Lufthansa is actually capable to book me a flight, right? I mean, you all know that LLMs, they can tell you anything with confidence, right? But you want to have the security that this agent really has the capability of what he claims he can do, so you need credentials. Then you need to find these agents, right? The whole world, the last 12 months, has been busy in building more agents, and we are just waking up, or the world is just waking up to the problem, okay, they need to find each other, and how do they do this? We have no mechanism for this. And then obviously you need to hold them accountable. We heard a lot this day, the last day, about the use case for traceability and having transparency with blockchain and AI. And this is really key. You need to implement a system of accountability, which is not there yet. Because I don't want to stand at the hotel reception and want to check in, right? And the receptionist says to me, Mr. Küpers, we don't have a room for you. And I just say, yeah, but Siri told me I have a room, right? That would be stupid. I need to prove that something has happened. And obviously it was quite clear to us right from the get-go that these agents, they cost a lot of money, right? They need data, they need compute, they need models, they consume tokens, so there needs to be a way to monetize them. And also they will transact, right? They need to pay each other, they need to move money around on behalf of humans. And all of this was our thinking 18 months ago. And therefore, we came to the conclusion that all these problems, they have already been solved. They have been solved by the blockchain industry at large over the last 7 to 8 years. And I'm always joking that probably blockchain was developed for the wrong target group, right? Maybe blockchain is much better used by agents than by humans. And I have my own personal history with Cardano. So I came to Cardano, probably as many of you, through a random algorithm recommendation on YouTube, suddenly watching Charles' TED Talk ages ago. And I'm a software engineer by trade, right? So I have a huge interest in software engineering and in architecture. And I never got excited about basically the speculation and the investment. I really got excited about understanding how all of this works. And I quickly figured out that Cardano is basically doing everything right. And I quickly could see from an architecture decisions, all these architecture decisions IOHK have been making, they're really genius, right? And if you compare it to all the downsides of Ethereum and Solana and all the others, you're realizing, okay, here are the best fundamentals. Because I still believe that if this happens, right, if we are heading into a future of billions of agents and they want to use blockchain, there is no blockchain in the world right now who can handle this. None of them, right? It's impossible right now to serve agents what they will probably require in just a few months. But I believe that Cardano has the best foundation. And I could talk about this forever. I just want to highlight a view. You have to understand from an engineering perspective that agents will have a massive parallelization challenge, right? Agents will communicate with thousands and maybe even at some point millions of agents at the same time. So you are looking for a blockchain solution which is by design suitable for parallelization. Then you don't want to go for a bottleneck account-based system. You're really benefiting suddenly from the key decisions, or Charles likes to call it the gift that keeps on giving, right? You are understanding suddenly why extended UTXO is so important, and also what is happening with Laios right now, of why this is so beneficial for a future where agents transact like crazy around the world on the blockchain. The same is true for overhead, right? You want to avoid as much overhead as possible, and all these benefits from native tokens to how the smart contract system works on Cardano quickly leads you to the point to say, okay, that is the only option, right? There is no other way. If you look at all the other options, that how they do tokens, how they do smart contracts, you see as a software engineer who thinks about a parallelized world of agents, you see thousands of problems suddenly rising up. And obviously, you also have the whole issue of decentralization, right? Obviously, you could argue, yeah, just go for Solana, just go for a level 2 solution. It is super fast already, high throughput whatsoever. But I truly believe myself that this will become one of the most critical infrastructures of the world, right? Imagine how much money will be moved around by agents. You don't want to have this in the control of a view. Yeah, this is really absolutely unacceptable. You have to find the best compromise. You have to solve this goddamn blockchain trilemma in order to make this a reality. And I still believe, basically, that all the ingredients on Cardano come together. And I also want to highlight quickly that the Cardano Foundation played for us as service plan and also for all our enterprise clients an absolute critical role. We need to have, as an enterprise, who are going basically into the risk to suddenly start to invest millions of euros into a blockchain technology. You want to have a super professional, super reliable partner on the other side who can talk to CEOs, who can talk to basically senior executives who have nothing to do with the blockchain side of things. And therefore, we highly appreciate that there's the Cardano Foundation. And therefore, I'm always making the joke like, open 4 tabs in your browser and open the website from the Cardano Foundation next to Solana Foundation, next to Ethereum Foundation or whatever it is, and put yourself into the shoes of a senior executive from an enterprise, and now just choose just based on your first impression, and it will always come back to Cardano, which is basically the most professional approach for enterprises. And what we do now, and what our big goal is now, is to really solve our business model problem by investing in building this agentic trust layer, because I really believe that this will become, even if it's completely decentralized and community-owned, a massive business in itself, right? It will be PayPal on steroids, PayPal just way more bigger than anything else. And also our business model sits on selling now services with agents, which we have been in the past selling with humans. And this is quite easy to understand, right? So we are doing things which humans have been doing now with agents, and we want to do this highly standardized. We want to put these on marketplaces, and we need to have a simple plug-and-play solution. And we quickly came to the point to say, okay, we don't have this, right? And we need to build it, and I wanted to build it on Cardano. I tried to write a Pluto smart contract once with ChatGPT. I miserably failed. I wasn't aware of Aiken or whatsoever. And I knew, obviously, Patrick and Endmaker for a long time now, observing the Cardano ecosystem. So I gave Patrick a call and Christian, and we quickly decided that we need to do this together, right? There's probably no advertising agency in the world who could build this by himself. We have great competence in AI whatsoever, but not in blockchain. And therefore, we have created now this really big ecosystem. With my fable for Japanese names, I'm confusing everyone. But we have now, from our strategy, in the center of all of this, we are selling our services with agents. We have built this Masumi protocol, which is really the key pillar, right? This is the protocol which is enabling identity for agents, which is enabling payment for agents, which is enabling accountability, because we are hashing and tracing already today the decisions on chain. And we are super proud of it, and I think many people don't understand how early we are with this, right? We announced Masumi in the protocol in Davos this year. And this was before there was Google A2A, this was before there was the Stripe toolkit, this was before MasterCard announced anything into looking into agent payments, this was before Ethereum started an improvement proposal for Ethereum to do basically the same thing as Masumi. So we have been really kickstarting this super early. And Zokozumi is just basically the user-facing platform, which you probably have been seeing already when you went by our booth, and Kodozumi being a runtime environment, because if you will have billions of agents doing many things in parallel, you also need to solve a scaling challenge, and we had the scaling challenge ourselves early on, and therefore we solved it. And so what we have built now, I have a quick demo video just for you, is basically this Zokozumi platform where agents who are running on Cardano, who are running on the Masumi protocol, can be purchased. You have just seen we have already many, many real-life brands. We have over 500 organizations right now who signed up to the platform, and they are using Cardano without knowing it. Right? This is one of our key design principles. You use this platform, you can explore agents. You see all these companies like Shadista, GWI, and other startups who are already building on top of it. It's not just service plan, right? It's an open platform. Endmaker is building for it, we are building for it, and more companies building for it. And you find all of this in a neatly arranged marketplace where you can hire these agents now. Normal users are just paying with normal fiat currency. They just use Stripe, actually, in this case, to pay by credit cards and to get some virtual credits, which is a prepaid amount of money, so to say. But every single time this happens, every single time someone starts a job with an agent, you can see it switching now in the inbox, and there's a message that it's hiring the agent. This is now the point in time where actually a transaction on Cardano is happening, and the smart contract is basically handling this whole process. And that being said, this is our journey, right? We realize that AI is disrupting our business. We are embracing this disruption. We started to invest deeply into something which you call deep tech right now, right? We do, as an agency, suddenly we do blockchain, we do agents, we do payments. And we are really switching and evolving ourselves from being a pure service business to a platform business with building a protocol, building a runtime, building a marketplace. And we can already see from everything which is happening, and this is my last slide, that this is starting to pay off. And we see traction. We are doubling right now our numbers basically every 30 days. The amount of transaction is growing. And if you want to figure out, happy to invite you to just use this QR code and check it out yourself. So my time is up. Thank you very much for listening. And if you want to chat, let's chat later.